Welcome everyone to a casted game of Age of Empires 4! And today, spawning the east side of the map, playing in blue, we've got Beastyqt playing as the Byzantines, and his opponent on the west side of the map playing in pink. We've got Corvinus1 playing as the Jeanne d'Arc faction. Welcome everyone to Dry Arabia on the Japanese Springs biome, bringing you new civilizations as part of the Sultans Ascend DLC for Age of Empires 4. Lots to talk about, lots to unpack, lots to discuss, and, well, we're going to be focusing on the Jeanne d'Arc and the Byzantines today, of course, and there's lots to discover. I think these two civilizations are pretty complicated, lots of things going on. I say the Byzantines are a bit more complicated than Jeanne d'Arc, because, of course, Jeanne d'Arc is a sub-faction, so things will be a bit familiar, because, obviously, it does resemble the French in many ways. But Jeanne d'Arc, she's a complicated lady, she has got a whole life ahead of her, and she's going to be having a journey of a hero. And she can do plenty of things, you know, she's building, she can mine resources, she can participate in combat, she can also actually get experience to be upgraded, but in the castle age as well, get the sacred sites. So lots of things going on with this unit. We're going to break it down, and I'm going slowly to guide you through what Jeanne d'Arc is all about. She also has a honourable art. That was almost French kind of an accent there, but anyway. She regenerates her health very slowly, and also takes less damage at level 3 at 50%, and at level 4, she actually reduces damage taken to 66%, which is actually really strong. But hopefully we'll get to that late game. In fact, I'm pretty sure we'll get to the late game on this one, because the Byzantines are pretty slow to get going sometimes. Anyway, she's also a very talented builder. She constructs buildings 33% faster, but upon reaching level 2, she actually shares that ability with her comrades, her fellow builders. Now, this is just the beginning of things. Now, we talk about experience points, and, well, there's going to be a couple of decisions that Corvinus is going to have to make today. Namely, the route of development. She can become a hunter, or she become a woman-at-arms. Now, that choice is permanent. Like, she's going to follow that route. If she becomes a hunter, the next level she becomes a mounted archer, and then she becomes a markswoman as the levels progress. However, if she becomes a woman-at-arms, then she becomes a knight, and then gets a blast cannon, which sounds absolutely phenomenal. In any case, if she becomes a hunter, she gets the divine restoration ability, where she can actually, nearby allies, she can heal them up. Whereas if she goes for the woman-at-arms line of things, she gets Holy Wrath, where she's able to unleash a powerful area effect damage, and I'm hopefully going to see that, because we haven't actually seen it yet in the casting games I've covered. Hopefully today, we'll have to see. In any case, progressing from that, the next decision to be made as she ranks up in a way, gets that further experience in life, she can choose becoming or getting champions or rider champions. Now, what that means is that really she gets an ability, depending on which one, she can actually summon champions to her side, kind of man-at-arms based ones, or if she goes to the rider ones, then obviously gets the rider champions. And regardless of what choices she makes on that front, she can get the Galvanizer Righteous enhancement. It's a passive ability which actually gives extra armor and also 10% damage on units. Now, in a large mass of units, that can be incredibly powerful. Now, from there, the next choice is going to be between Field Commander or Gunpowder Monarch. And I think generally that's going to be an interesting one, because it does change things around. If she goes for the Field Commander, she can rally 7 of her chosen champions from the previous tech. If she goes for Gunpowder Monarch, though, she can only get 3, but she gets a cannon. So I think I would love to see Gunpowder Monarch, I gotta say. Now, whether you choose the champions or the rider champions, you can still either choose the Field Commander or the Gunpowder. So it's not the case if you choose champions, you can only choose Field Commander. No, you can actually choose Gunpowder Monarch as well. But once the decision has been made, if you've chosen Field Commander, well, you can only get the Strength of Heaven ultimate ability. That's it, it's fixed, okay? You can't then get the Valorous Inspiration. If, however, you choose Gunpowder Monarch, you can get Valorous Inspiration. You might be wondering, what's the difference between the two? Well, the Strength of Heaven actually blesses particular units, gives them a big boost, extra 300 health for ranged and melee armor, and gives them a 300% damage, which is kind of bonkers, but yeah. Valorous Inspiration, though, has a bit more of a widespread influence, and increases the attack speed of all units within a 4-tile radius by 50% for 20 seconds. So that is Jeanne d'Arc in a nutshell. It's a lot to get around, but, you know, as you see more casted games, I'll be kind of reiterating it. You'll get your head around it, especially if you play the game. But with the Jeanne d'Arc kind of covered in many ways, there are a couple of differences with the Jeanne d'Arc and the French, but I do want to give some love to Beastyqt and the Byzantines today. So let's talk about this. The Byzantines going up with the Grand Winery. Now, what this does, acts as a monastery, but also busts the nearby villagers gathering the berries to get more olive oil. You might be wondering, what the heck is olive oil? Well, that's a good question, because it's a unique resource for the Byzantines. And, well, the Byzantines, they can actually get mercenaries. They can build mercenary houses for 150 wood, and they get special contracts. So this is something I really like at the Byzantines. They can have access units from other factions and civilizations. Let's take a look at this. So you can go for the Eastern Mercenary Contract, the Western Mercenary Contract, the Silk Road Mercenary Contract, and depending on which one you go for, you can get different units. You can get the Keshiks, the Gulam, or the Tower Elephant for the Eastern, Longbowman, Lance-Connector, Streltsy for the Western, and you get the Javelin Thrower, Camel Rider, and the Grenadiers for the Silk Road. Now the thing is though, you do have to upgrade the contract. So in the tier 1 of the contract, for the Eastern Mercenary Contract for example, you can only get the Keshik, then you have to upgrade it to tier 2 to get the Gulam, and then the tier 3 to the Tower Elephant. So you can't just get all the units at once, I'm afraid. So decisions have to be made. And I think this is something really interesting between the two factions and the civilizations. It shows the decision making within game, and like how each game will be slightly different. You know, I really like that about Age of Empires 4, about you have a choice of landmarks, but now it takes it even a step further with the choice of things like contracts. Now, this beautiful building here that you might see is a cistern. Now, this actually is going to be the main heart of the Byzantine economy. It actually boosts up the gather speed of villagers around it, depending on the water level. So if you increase your water level, the rate increases. And the same thing goes for these little boostable abilities you get. There's 3 in total, they're toggleable. So what that means is different cisterns can be on different ones. So you can get Conscriptio on one, you can get Dialecticus on another, for instance. Of course, they have very different bonuses. Oh, might lose a villager, does lose a villager to the knight there from the French, or the Jeanne d'Arc, I should say. But the first of the 3 toggleable abilities is Conscriptio. It's military production rates increase, Dialectus for research, and Presidium for reducing the damage taken to buildings. Now the Byzantines also have another really nice bonus for helping them against raids, just like the Jeanne d'Arc might be doing today. And that is this. It actually gives the nearby villagers stronger weapons, increases their attack, I think it's by +5, and increases their armor by +2 for 30 seconds. So that gives them a little bit of ability to defend themselves. Beastyqt is going to be getting that water level up by connecting the cisterns via the aqueducts. Now, these guys are absolutely fantastic to look at, these structures, because when it does really start to get the late game and you have loads of aqueducts, it looks so good as a base building experience. Okay, well, Jeanne d'Arc today has chosen the Woman at Arms line, so she actually gets this particular ability, the Holy Wrath one. Now, I've not seen this before, so I'm super excited to showcase this one. She's on her journey, of course. She has reached the next level. I would like to say, by the way, just a very big thank you for everyone who is supporting the channel, whether it's just sharing the videos or, you know, with people that you think might enjoy them. Giving the video a thumbs up, that actually really helps on the YouTube algorithm. You'd be surprised how much that does. And even just engaging, like, just a comment here and there about what you felt about the games and what civilizations you prefer. Actually, I would like to know that, actually, because I've showcased a lot of civilizations so far. I think it's probably like the 5th or 6th video that I'm releasing. So you probably have a good idea of what civilizations you like the look of. I think, for me, I gotta say, like, the Byzantines, the Japanese are really, really interesting because they're very brand new civilizations, right? But I think the thing that surprised me the most is the variant civilizations are actually really, really nice to play. Like, they're very, they're familiar, but they're also pretty different. And I think that adds a little bit nice of a break into it, because imagine having 6 totally brand new civilizations. I feel that would be a bit overwhelming, just to learn everything, right? Obviously, you get there in time, but it's a nice break into it. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below, which is your favorite faction civilization that you've spotted so far. I'd love to see what you guys are. I might run a poll, actually, on my community page. I might just do that, actually. Yeah, it could be a good idea. Anyway, the action's about to heat up. A couple of knights diving in. There are Limitini for the Byzantines. Going to be doing well to fight that alpha. Look at that. She just used the Holy Wrath ability there, Jeanne d'Arc. And it replenishes quite quickly, actually, as a cooldown. Might even use another one. We shall see. The crazy thing about Jeanne d'Arc is, I think you're going to have a lot of APM, right? A lot of skill to play this unit and this faction. I think, generally, though, it could be possibly a bit stronger than the French, if you know how to use it well. She just used a Divine Restoration. You saw the pluses on the top of the units? Going to be healing those units quite nicely. She's got to be careful, though, not to be killed. Just bear in mind, though, if she is killed, she can self-heal and regenerate herself back from the dead, apparently. There is a bit of a cooldown, but you can spend gold to do that a little bit quicker and just do it instantaneously, if you so wish. But I think the more times you do it, the more gold you actually have to spend, so just bear that in mind. Right, well, quite a decent number of units here coming out for Beastie. Trying to meet her in the middle and push them away. The Limitini are nice. Hopefully I'm saying that right, but yeah, anyway. It's quite an interesting unit for the Byzantines. It's a hardened kind of spearman type equivalent, I guess, in a way. But they actually have an ability called Shield Wall, which enters a defensive stance, but it decreases their movement speed, makes them pretty slow, decreases their attack speed, but it reduces the damage taken by arrows or range damage by 50%. So if you're aware of your opponent going quite mass archers, you can just deploy the shield wall and just brace yourself and try and reduce the damage taken. So we can see generally there's a definite focus into kind of more activatable abilities and choices to be made for the new factions and civilizations in the Sultans Ascend DLC. Well, Corvinus is kind of doing French things, as you would expect, as the Jeanne d'Arc faction going out to the deer camp. Maybe thinking about getting the one in the north as well. Could be possible. One thing to bear in mind, actually, with Jeanne d'Arc, she's actually really good at killing hunt. And just units in general, like in terms of on the field, like animals. She actually gets a plus 10 huntable animal damage. So she got the 11, obviously mace melee damage, but add another 10 onto that. For the animals, I'm afraid they're not going to survive the wrath of Jeanne d'Arc. There's a lot of units here for the Byzantines. Beastyqt ramping up the production. Back at home, I think he's at water level 2 still. Yep, so that'll be increasing the gather speed of villagers by 10% if I'm not mistaken. And obviously with the military production, it's going to be increasing to the next stage of 40%. Heading down the south as well to get the berries. And I think it's an interesting, right? Because when you think about berries, you kind of think about, well, factions or civilizations like the Abbasid dynasty, the Ayyubids, the Delhi Sultanate. But actually, Byzantines actually quite favor getting berries because you actually gather olive oil from it, and there are already certain sources of food that you gather olive oil from. Like you get it from fish, you get it from olive groves, which is essentially the Byzantine farms. Yeah, they don't get farms, I'm afraid. So I'm a bit disappointed about that, but it's understandable. We've got to stay true to the game mechanics, right? It wouldn't make sense. But olive groves are definitely nice to look at, but you don't get them from deer camps. So it's an interesting kind of difference, because if you got it from deer camps, you definitely go for deer camps for the Byzantines. You'd get food and olive oil, but they've made it so that you don't get olive oil from deer camps, and so then obviously there's a bit more of a preference on the berries. Alright, well, he does have a mercenary house. He's getting longbowmen, so you can see he's actually gone for the western mercenary contract there, Beastie. So he'll have access to the longbowmen, the lance connector, and Streltsy in the late game, and it's quite nice to think about getting Streltsys in the late game, eh? I'm just poking and prodding. Beastyqt, though, going up to the castle age at a pretty decent time, going up with 9 villagers to build the Golden Horn Tower. What this will do is actually gather mercenary units for free, depending on the value of the units that you get, depends on the system's influence. So if you thought the Ottomans were interesting with their free units, well, the Byzantines are going to get something similar with that landmark. Corvinus already up to the next stage, though. He's already got the Guild Hall, and the thing that's kind of interesting is that Jeanne d'Arc might just go out into the map and get the sacred sites, but also thinking about getting relics, it seems. Yeah, there's the monastery being built. Getting the veteran upgrades to the knights. Ordnance Company going to be consecrating buildings, also reduce the wood and gold cost by 25%. So that's actually interesting. I didn't actually realize that. So this is one of the other abilities for Jeanne d'Arc. She's able to consecrate buildings. I'm not sure if I mentioned that earlier in the video, actually. I don't think I did, but well, let's find her. Where's she gone? Yeah, there she is. Let's find her. So she's able to consecrate buildings, and that actually reduces the cost of food by 25% on buildings that she's consecrated. But with that ordnance upgrade, she can now reduce the cost by for the food as well as wood and gold, which is kind of strong when you think about it. Now, one of the differences between Jeanne d'Arc and the normal French civilization is the French civilization actually trained villagers quicker. By 18 seconds they get a villager, whereas the other civilizations, for the most part, and also Jeanne d'Arc, get them in 20 seconds. But what Jeanne d'Arc can do, she can make the villagers cheaper because you can actually consecrate the town center. So reducing the cost by 25%. Now, obviously, it's not an instant thing, like right from the beginning of the game. You do have to wait for the next level to actually reaches to get that. But I think for the mid to late game, it's still really strong, right? Because sure, they're not getting faster villagers, but they're getting cheaper ones at least. And Jeanne d'Arc going to be leading the front lines. There are a couple of man-at-arms here for Corvinus, so that'll do well. But you can see Jeanne d'Arc is really soaking up. Oh, she used the champions. She's rallied them. She got quite a few of them. They're fighting along the side. Uses the other ability, the Holy Wrath ability, the red circle that comes around, dishing out a bit of area effect damage. I'd love to see it. Maybe happening again. Longbow is struggling. They're going to focus on the archers that the French or the Jeanne d'Arc has. Holy Wrath heads further forward, and he's really spamming that ability. It's looking good. It's really nice mechanic, right? It's not sort of overwhelming. It's not killing everything, but it's doing a bit of damage. Might use it again. Yeah, it uses it again. See the HP taken off? There was a decent amount there. Hopefully might use it again. We can just see exactly how much it takes off. That's a better idea. But there is a French Royal Knights. Jeanne d'Arc's like, that does a lot of damage, guys, because he got right in there. And he went for a scattered formation. That's a bit tricky because that's weird because, like, with the clumped up units, Jeanne d'Arc couldn't actually get in the middle of that army, right? But when Beastie went to the spread formation, it actually gave her space to go right in the middle. So that's kind of interesting to think about. What would be better? Would it be going for scattered formation or just staying as a big clump and trying to get out of there? It feels like staying as a clump and getting out of there could be an option. Because if you let Jeanne d'Arc get in the middle of the army, then sure, you spread out, but it just feels like you get more units within the radius. Mantime's going to dive on that stone. Might be thinking about a second town centre here, Beastie. We'll have to see. A lot of wood being floated by Corvinus. Maybe thinking about getting some siege. That could be an option to spend that quickly. Actually, now Jeanne d'Arc does go across the map, looking to get that sacred site. You can see that arms to men. She's got the 3 champions to her side when she needs. Wow, got awfully quiet, didn't it? Holy moly. Well, getting all-important upgrades. Getting horticulture, Jeanne d'Arc, making the farms a bit more effective. And you can see the consecrated buildings here. You can see the School of Cavalry, the little symbol on top of it. Same with the barracks. I suspect the town centre as well. Yeah, it is. It's got a second town centre. I would love to see Jeanne d'Arc come out just to consecrate that second town centre. It's been pushed off the sacred site. Does activate it, so Beastie's going to have to send a unit just to deactivate that. Does have the sacred site in the south as well. I really like the fact that Jeanne d'Arc can get sacred sites. It's really kind of strong push in the castle age to get that kind of mid-map objectives. Like, you can tech up to the next age, get a monastery for your relics, and you don't have to spend time for your monks to go for the sacred sites, right? That's not something you generally do. You kind of fight out for the relics. And but Jeanne d'Arc kind of has this extra little mini battle to get the sacred sites that your opponent has to kind of address. It almost feels like if you're playing against the Delhi, right? Obviously, Delhi do it from the feudal age, but and they'd have mass scholars, to be fair. It's only one single unit, but it's just a little bit of another added thing you have to think about if you're going up against Jeanne d'Arc. Just her ability to get the sacred sites. Oh, production builder's going on the front just to protect the berries in some ways, but it's a little bit awkward because Beastie might just head in here. He's got 55 military. Now, a little bit of an initial skirmish there for Jeanne d'Arc did kill a few villagers, but it looks like Beastie's fighting back now because, of course, Corvinus did lose a lot of military, right? Starting to build up once again with the castle age units. Now, this is actually a nice, decent fight here for Corvinus. It might not seem like it, but when you think about it, he's got a decent number of man-at-arms, and he's got the Jeanne d'Arc ability coming out, and it's mostly just veteran longbowmen out for Beastie. They kind of tickle the man-at-arms. I mean, it's certainly a fight that he'll win, and Jeanne d'Arc does need to back away. But overall, it wasn't too bad a trade. He does need to be careful because it could go a lot worse, right? He needs to make sure that he backtracks and keeps units back to try and form another form of defense, because he won't want to lose any more ground, right? Because Beastie might start to think about taking into rams, but he doesn't really have the width for that. So the amount of damage that Beastie can do is actually kind of limited. So I really like that second town centre play for Corvinus because, yeah, sure, he lost his military on the front lines and he thought, okay, well, he did some damage. It will take some time for Beastie to mount a response. Granted, it didn't take Beastie that long to get a response, but, you know, it's going to take a while for him to deal with any siege to get them out on the field here for Beastie, right? So the critical damage that Beastie could do is pretty limited. That second town centre for Jeanne d'Arc should pay for itself pretty quickly. Especially when you consider it is consecrated now. A couple of production buildings going to be taken down. Now, the thing is, often you would be worried about losing production buildings on the front lines, but Corvinus does have a decent amount of wood in the bank, and I think actually, if anything, this is actually buying Corvinus time, right? And that's actually what he needs. He's got second town centre. We just need to try and delay things. Oh, this could be a big pick-off here for Beastie. There's quite a few villages out here for Corvinus. Unprotected threes. He's sending more. No, Corvinus got to get out of there. Corvinus, he's not spotting it. He's going to lose a lot of villagers. Oh, this is bad. He's sending more. What's he doing? He's going to try and... Wait a minute. What? He hasn't spotted it. He just doesn't realise. Villagers taking off the deer camp on the north. They did head eastwards, but he's forgotten about these ones. Oh, that's bad. He's losing a lot. And BC's going to clean this up. There's no way they get out. Like, even if they... I say there's no way. They will get out, but he just lost so many. It felt like if he reacted any bit later, they all would have died. And that's a good pick off there by Beastie. Got a good 5-6 villagers. Not all is lost, though. Corvinus does have that second town centre. I got a feeling that Beastie's got a second town centre himself, though. Let's just double check. Yeah, he does have a second town centre. You get the feeling sometimes, just looking at the village count and how it changes, because Beastie does have the village lead. Did kill a few, but you kind of get the feeling he's got the second town centre. We see the Varangian guards here for the Byzantines. Now, these guys are super fast when they activate the berserking ability. It's actually kind of a crazy sight to see. Take a look at this. The Varangian guards swap their two-handed weapons and deal +6 damage for 30 seconds. And the armor is reduced by -4. But movement speed-wise, wait a minute. Don't they have a... Okay, maybe I got them mixed up. Okay, I thought it was a movement speed thing, but it's not. It's actually going to giving them +6 damage. That's actually kind of bunkers. It does reduce their armor, though. I've already got a 15 base damage. Like when you factor in the 14 base damage coming from the Man at Arms, from the Jeanne d'Arc, you add another 1 for the Varangian Guard and add another 6 for that upgrade. But quite a few crossbows here for Jeanne d'Arc, going to be cleaning away those Varangian Guards. And this is a great fight here for Corvinus. He's got everything he needs, right? He's got the Man at Arms to take care of the longbows. We just saw the activatable ability. I think that was Divine Restoration ability. Nicely done, and it's going to clean this up. And this is looking great for Corvinus, I think, at this point, because he's got quite a large, massive army. But you might be thinking, well, he's got equal numbers. But the Byzantines, they've got kind of longbowmen and a couple of Varangian Guards, but it doesn't really feel like there's enough. The longbowmen are very hard countered with what Corvinus has. It's going to be difficult. It feels like the Byzantines might need to add in a couple of crossbows and try and get more Varangian Guards if they can. Alright, just going to be expanding the production capabilities. I do like this from Beastie, because comes a point where the Byzantines, their economy gets really quite crazy. And it's all down to the water level, right? So is that water level 3? Just trying to extend that to water level 4. But if you take a look at it now, the water level at 3 is going to be increasing the gather speed of villagers by 15%. Make that level 4, it's going to be 20%. And, you know, that's going to be really ramping up that economy that's already established. It's just like a massive kick up the backside, right? A couple of units heading in the stealth field. Going to be moving forward to the middle of the map. Looking to deactivate the sacred site there in the middle. Jeanne d'Arc healing herself up. 1 Man at Arms for Corvinus will perish quite quickly. Got the detail, right? Got the information they needed. It's going northwards now. Looking to pick off any villages that might go out to Deer Camp. There are a couple of villages just edging that way. Thankfully for Beastie, he is walled up pretty nicely. Jeanne d'Arc is a knight though. She gets 25 melee damage. 450 health. Gets a keep in the south, looking to protect that gold vein. That's actually a key bit of detail, talking about map generations and spawns. It's really important to get access to the gold. And I like this keep position, right? Because it's kind of going to be protecting this gold, but also this one in the corner. It gives them good, safe access to it. Beastie is aware of this, so he's looking to see just where Corvinus might be getting to the gold. Corvinus decided to go for the more risky approach, though, in the middle of the map. As looking to activate the sacred site. The reason why I like this keep is not only does it give him safe access to 8,000 tile of gold, also gives him a good protection on that sacred site. Speaking of sacred sites, the middle one will be decamped very soon and possibly captured by the Byzantines. One in the north has been captured by the Byzantines, but Corvinus might be giving his position away a little bit by deactivating that, giving the notification to Beastie. Now Beastie decides, okay, well that's my time to attack. Only 7 villages can garrison aside the town centers now, so we'll lose a couple on that wood line. There's a bit of a heavy dive in here for Beastie. He does have 72 military. You just get the feeling that Aoe4 has been pumped out and put to good use, right? Like all of these longbows are coming out from Aoe4, I think. It's looking strong. Looking to torch down the second town center. I think the second town center might go down. I'm not sure Corvinus will get the units out here quick enough. He's got to be careful. Does have a decent man at arms. When will he jump on this? I think he jumps on it now, straight away, before he leaves the key at the town center. But it just might even come out to repair. He takes the engagement. Jeanne d'Arc coming in from the south, leading another group of troops, brings them close by. Will she use any of the abilities? Might be using the Divine Restoration if she gets close to her army. Oh, she does use that, and the Man at Arms there. And she used the oh, I forgot what it's called now. Holy moly, what was it called again? Oh yeah, the Holy Wrath, the Holy Wrath. It'll take some time to get used to it. But look at this, the spread formation comes again. If she gets Holy Wrath once again, that could be good. Okay, she just used the drafting of units, right? She just got another cannon add to the mix, and that's going to do a lot of splash damage. Holy mo! Oh, did you guys see that? The amount of splash damage that came out of the cannon. Would he get another shot off? Has to back away for now, but yeah, this is looking disastrous for Beastie. Lost a lot. Sure, he got a bit of a raid, but didn't get at the second town center even. Man at Arms will sweep everything that remains. See that? She's got Valorous Inspiration, so that means that she did get a really interesting upgrade. She must have chosen, let's take a look. It was the Gunpowder Monarch, right? So that means she gets 3 of her chosen champions, and she gets the cannon every time she activates that, which is here. So she's going to get 3 champions and 1 cannon to her side, but now she's going to get the Valorous Inspiration as well. I'm pretty excited to watch that, actually. See how that does. Again, it's not something I've seen, so this is a really interesting match, because I've seen everyone go for the Hunter line, usually, which is kind of strange. And I was wondering, why are people not going for the Knight line things? And Corvinus doing just that today. Can they be getting a Red Palace in the north, protecting that stone and the Deer Camp? Oh, well, what remains of it anyway. But more importantly, it's the gold, right? It's got protection of that initial gold. It's already got to keep in the south. going to be extending that map position and control. Corvinus's army, led by Jeanne d'Arc. Going to be heading to the northern sacred site. It's going to be a keep there as well. Look at the number of villages he's sending. I mean, this is a little bit tricky because there is a keep there already for Beasty, or at least it's going up. I think Beasties obviously will get there quicker. The trouble for Beasties, the army is here for Jeanne d'Arc, and where's Beastie's army? Pretty much at home. The trouble for Beastie's army is very static, right? I mean, to be fair, so is Corvinus. It's not as if he's got cavalry. Oh, he spots it now, though. Oh, Corvinus has got to get out of there. He's going to lose villages otherwise. But the trouble is, there's a lot of military. I think these villages will go down for Beastie unless they get... No, there's not enough space, right? He's trying to get an outpost, but it's not going to happen. Jeanne d'Arc might use her ability. You just saw the Holy Wrath ability being used. Absolutely decimating the villages, and the keep will be next. There is no doubt about that. Now, Jeanne d'Arc has got her blast cannon, and it's really, really strong, guys. The blast cannon actually does an extra 200 damage to buildings. Let's take a quick look at that. It's got 53 base damage as a hand cannon, and as a plus 200 to the buildings. There is a cannon in the back lines as well, just demolishing that keep for the French, for the Byzantines rather. But it's just coming out, going northwards, but they're going to be dying, and the experience continues to mount, but there's a bit of a counter raid coming up for Beastie, right? He just can't engage his army in the north, so he decides, okay, I need to do damage myself. He does kill a couple of villages on the wood line. There's a nice bit of pick off there, and the villager count is hovering at 82 for Corvinus versus 79. But I think the consecrate ability is really helping, because it gives you kind of the Abbasid dynasty vibes, right? With fresh foodstuffs. Getting cheaper villagers. If you add that kind of concept to the French and how Jeanne d'Arc plays, it's kind of brutal, right? Because if you kind of think about it, like the French and the Jeanne d'Arc faction, if they're going knights or even man-at-arms, it's a very heavy food cost in that. And if you're going to start to reduce the cost of villagers, it's kind of bonkers. You get to see the Arbaletière, the elite Arbaletière, familiar faces from the French faction. Here we go. Well, a town centre being built mostly for defences, I think, at this point, because obviously the Red Palace actually boosted it up a little bit. They've still got that bonus, I think. Let's take a look. Red Palace. Yeah. It's going to be adding Arbalest emplacements on all the keeps and the town centres. It's a very cheap static way, static defense to try and defend, but this is where the main action is coming in. Right in the heart of the base of the Byzantines. The man-at-arms going to be taking down production buildings with the arbitrary on the backline. Oh, but there are a couple of mangonels. That could dish out damage. Mangonels firing off. Huge damage output coming. A couple of the man-at-arms do back away. Will the Divine Restoration come in? Jeanne d'Arc going to be riding it. It does come in. Take a look at that. All those units healed up a little bit. And they're going to take the engagement. There is a big choke point there. Limitini trying to force those man-at-arms back. But Jeanne d'Arc using the Holy Wrath ability. She might lose her life, though. She might be brought back instantly to the battlefield, though. There is an ability for that. But Jeanne d'Arc has dealt a lot of damage. Now the man-at-arms going to clean up the mangonels, and if that happens, well, that leaves the crossbows to deal with all the infantry that remains. But there's a huge mangonel shot coming out there for Beastie. Will he get another? Quite possibly. No, he doesn't. He loses the mangonel in the end. 4 springholes, but they're not going to take any damage more, I don't think, if they actually move back. No, he's actually going to engage. No, that's not the right thing to do. Oh, he might lose him now. He's going to retreat to the keep, but the man-at-arms are pretty tanky. I think Corvinus might just dive this, and if he takes out those springholes, that's a lot of premium units. That lets Corvinus reset and maybe get a couple of cannons of his own back onto the battlefield. He's just going to engage against a Limitino for now, but the Springles will survive. And Beastie will live to fight another day. It doesn't have the military deficit, but it's definitely got a good eco going. Now, able to actually train the elite champions from the keeps. That's part of the ability that Jeanne d'Arc comes with. Now, I don't know if you guys noticed the music. It's actually sounding incredibly good. It's obviously clearly different for the new factions, as you would expect, but the music is looking on point. I've got to say, I'm very optimistic about this DLC and how it's panning out, because a lot of the skins as well, the units are so good to look at. Especially when you factor in, say, like the Order of the Dragon and... Oh man, the Order of the Dragon, their units look incredible. Let's take a look at the economy. Lots of olive groves coming up. Now, Byzantines haven't actually extended their water level just yet to level 5. You feel like it should be there by now, by 30 minutes. But Beastie is just focusing on other things, right? It's kind of difficult to remember sometimes if you know, obviously very new civilizations to the players. Does have plenty of stone to do that. In any case, he's going to go up to the Imperial Age himself. He's going to go up with the Foreign Engineering Company. Now, if you liked some of the siege units that you can get from the other faction civilizations, for example, the Hui Pao or the Nesta Bees, well, never fear. This allows you to do just that. It allows the production of Nesta Bees, Hui Pao, and the Royal Cannons with the olive oil. So you can just see how important olive oil is to the Byzantines and how much it can achieve. And take a look at that. Jeanne d'Arc's blast cannon looking absolutely crazy. leading the lines with the cannon on the back line. Well, Beastie does get to the Imperial Age. Will that give a signal for Corvinus to try and attack before the all-important upgrades come in? Because, of course, don't forget, Corvinus is, like, he's playing with an elite army at this point. He's got elite upgrades, whereas Beastie's going to have to wait a bit of time before he can do that. And Beastie does have 3 relics to his name, a little bit of an edge on that front. But, you know, Sacred Sight's in the favour of Beastie as well, to be fair. With the cannon, I think generally at this point in the game, 30 minutes on, siege actually makes a really big difference. It kind of makes a difference between, say, winning a fight and winning a huge, like, battle. Like, because with a fight, you can actually have siege in the back line, taking out infrastructure. And so, generally, like, in fights, you can trade really well. But if there's siege in the back line, like, you can't, if you don't get rid of the cannons, then you're going to be losing your infrastructure and your capabilities to replenish your army for one, or maybe losing precious economy. Now, we did see, though, Beastie had a couple of springolds. It's a little bit tricky, though, against the cannons. We take a look at the range on the cannons. These guys are rocking a 10-tower range. We take a look at the springolds, wherever they may be. Oh, they're hiding for now. There they are. They went north. Now, these guys, they do have the 10-tower range to match. But of course, cannon's going to dish out a lot of damage and take out springold very, very quickly. It does have a decent number, though, so if you micro this well, might be able to take out at least 1 or 2 cannons. Potentially. Look at the new boiling oil, guys. Looks absolutely fantastic. This is something I think they've really improved, just the aesthetics. The new boiling oil looks incredible. Take a look at that. Just used I think it's the... Wait, what was that? Was it the Valorous? Yeah, I think it might have been the Valorous Inspiration. Boosting up the units. You can see the units have golden hue around them. Mangonel deploys for the Byzantines, trying to take out a lot of those Man-at-Arms HP, but he does have a Mangonel... Actually, it's a Mangonel emplacement, I think, on the keep. So one thing that's unique to the Byzantines, they get Mangonel emplacements and outposts and keeps, they can train it, but he's going to lose the springolds, and that means the cannons on the back line, they're going to have free reign. We talked about this earlier in the cast, how, yeah, you can take fights, but if you've got siege up against you, and you've got no way to take out the siege will slowly take out your infrastructure, make it a lot more difficult to recover. All of a sudden, Corvinus is diving in. This is looking terrible for Beastie. This might be the end of the game, because Jeanne d'Arc is running riot, and she is absolutely leading the way, taking the fight to the Byzantines. Beastie's olive groves are on fire. The town center might go down soon. And Beastyqt is struggling to keep his military count up. It's at 4 versus 39. He's got a couple of lands connected, but you feel it's not going to be enough. The hand cannoneers behind the Man-at-Arms, behind Jeanne d'Arc. Jeanne d'Arc now leading the charge on the Grand Winery. The trouble is, Beastie is going to be losing his landmarks. He's already lost his capital town center. Going to be losing the Grand Winery. And then it can be his Imperial Age upgrade. In particular, talking about the Imperial Age landmark, like he only just built it, it feels like, and he hasn't been able to get the upgrades. It doesn't necessarily matter anymore, because the military numbers are absolutely non-existent here for Beastie. Down to 1 versus 41. The production buildings will be next, and Jeanne d'Arc is absolutely running riot on Dry Arabia. Corvinus playing this faction incredibly well. Got the 2 cannons as well added to the mix. I think that ability is actually kind of crazy. The gunpowder monarch giving them 3 champions and a cannon as well. It looks incredible. Well, Corvinus backing off for now, but I don't think there's all that much left to do. Take a look at the numbers. Now, the villager count is actually not too bad for Beastie, so if he can somehow hold, I mean, it's a big ask, right? There's just no real way to take care of the cannons. And Jeanne d'Arc running into the middle of the base. Well, there's a couple of landscannons coming out. Man-at-Arms there for Jeanne d'Arc. Going to be now torching down the olive groves, but they're just camping her out in the base. There's not that much more to hit. And, well, Beastyqt, he unfortunately only got to the Imperial Age pretty late compared to his opponent and has been made to pay. Corvinus taking the game on Dry Arabia, showcasing the Jeanne d'Arc faction, how strong they can be, and defeating Beastyqt's Byzantines. I hope you guys enjoyed the casted game, and if you did, and you'd like to see more, make sure you subscribe to the channel, but also hit that notification bell. Take care, and see you next time.